Everything changed in a matter of seconds. You know, the trenches of the National Football League, they're completely unforgiving. It's this brutally violent ecosystem where careers are forged in blood and sweat, and where championship dreams, well, they can be violently dismantled in the literal blink of an eye. Welcome to this NFL Nexus Explainer. I'm your host, and today, we are pulling back the curtain on what might just be the most high-stakes, dramatic transformation in modern football. We're zeroing in on the Indianapolis Colts 2026 season. And look, this isn't just a standard rebuild. No, this is a cinematic trial by fire. The ticking clock of a must-win season is literally echoing through the halls of Lucas Oil Stadium right now. So let's dive into this. But hey, before we step out onto that battlefield and really dissect the anatomy of this franchise's massive gamble, you need to arm yourself with the absolute best premium analysis in the game. Support NFL Nexus. Subscribe to the channel right now. Hit that like button on this explainer. Comment your thoughts down below as we go through this. And honestly, think about becoming a channel member today. This is the only place you're going to find this level of deep, uncompromised, documentary-style football intelligence. The exact kind of intelligence that reveals the chilling reality of an NFL offseason.
So I have to ask, what happens when the safety net is violently ripped away? I mean, for years, the Colts had this incredible bedrock of stability. It was a firm foundation built on established veterans who had literally seen every stunt, every zero blitz, and every complex blocking scheme the league could possibly throw at them. But as they say, the NFL stands for not for long. In Week 13 of the 2025 season, playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the absolute unthinkable happened. Longtime starting right tackle Braden Smith went down, a severe season-ending neck injury. This guy was a cornerstone fixture since 2018, and suddenly, he's just gone. And look, if that wasn't enough to completely fracture the roster, the defensive side of the ball suffered a massive exodus in free agency. The defensive end rotation of Kwity Paye, Samson Ebukam, and Tyquan Lewis, literally the lifeblood of their pass rush, just vanished. Almost overnight, the franchise was terrifyingly exposed.
Everything changes. Just let that sink in for a second. The gravity of this situation for general manager Chris Ballard and head coach Shane Steichen, it absolutely cannot be overstated. This is a pivotal, must-win season. The patience of the fan base is wearing completely thin. The front office is under this intense, unforgiving microscope. And the margin for error? It is exactly zero. They don't have the luxury of a slow, multi-year developmental curve anymore. They need answers, and honestly, they need them yesterday. The pressure cooker is sealed totally shut, and the heat is turning way up. Because of all this, there is a stark, honestly terrifying contrast in their current reality. On one side, you have the old guard, Braden Smith, Kwity Paye, Samson Ebukam. We're talking thousands upon thousands of NFL snaps, deep playoff experience, proven battle-tested commodities. And then, on the other side, you have the new blood, Jaylahn Travis and Jaylahn Tuimoloau, two second-year players with minimal starting experience. The entire fate of a billion-dollar franchise, the jobs of the coaching staff, the hopes of the entire city, they all now rest almost entirely on the unproven shoulders of these two young men. It is a staggering, monumental transfer of power. Part 1, the Mammoth Protector. The spotlight shifts directly to the right side of the offensive line, where the sudden, brutal thrust of Jaylahn Travis into the starting right tackle spot is really the most critical storyline of the entire offense. The torch has been passed, whether he's ready or not. 6 feet 8 inches. Jaylahn Travis is a towering monument of a man. This height puts him in the 95th percentile of NFL athletes. When he stands at the line of scrimmage, he casts a literal shadow over opposing edge rushers. But, as we know, height alone doesn't make an NFL tackle capable of surviving a grueling 17-game slate. It's everything else that comes with it. 340 pounds, also resting securely in the 95th percentile. He is a literal mammoth out there. He was a 4th-round pick out of Iowa State, actually transferring there for his final year after being a multi-year starter at Princeton. But let's dig into the smallest details here, because this is where his physical profile gets truly intimidating. To put his size into perspective, his arms are 34 7/8 inches long. That places him in the 86th percentile for reach. His wingspan spans a staggering 83.5 inches. His hands are 10.5 inches across. And yet, despite all of that, this 340-pound giant possesses a 35-inch vertical jump. That's the 97th percentile for offensive linemen. Plus, a 112-inch broad jump. It's genuinely one of the most impressive athletic showings of all tackle prospects at the NFL Scouting Combine since 1999. He isn't just big, he is an explosive, rare anomaly of human physics. Just listen to the words of fourth-year Colts offensive line coach Tony Sperano Jr. He said, "Guy's got natural power. I just see some rare stuff in him. Strength, length. He's the kind of kid you want to bet on." Now, when a seasoned, battle-hardened offensive line coach uses the word rare, you pay close attention. The Colts didn't just draft a player here. They drafted a high-upside monster. He's a physical prototype that Chris Ballard swung for in the 4th round, really hoping to mold a generational talent.
Part 2. A baptism by fire. You see, Travis was supposed to be the understudy. He was supposed to learn quietly in the shadows behind Braden Smith. But when Smith went down in Week 13, this rookie was shoved into the absolute ultimate crucible. In his final 4 starts of the season, plus those 35 snaps of relief against the Jaguars, Travis didn't face practice squads. No, he faced a murderer's row. The Jaguars, the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Texans. Every single one of them an elite 2025 playoff team. The pressure was suffocating. One mistake could end his quarterback season. And yet, under immense, blinding pressure against some of the fiercest pass rushers in the world, this unproven rookie played 168 pass-blocking snaps. And how many sacks did he allow? Exactly 1. And only 10 total pressures. According to Pro Football Focus, he astonishingly locked down the right side of the line. It was a massive statement, a bold declaration that the moment was not too big for him. And now, despite a minor back injury at the start of minicamp, he is fully expected to fill that void seamlessly.
Part 3. Replacing the edge. Now we got to pivot to the defensive side of the ball because an entirely different kind of pressure is mounting over there. If the offensive line is all about holding the wall, well, the defensive line is about violently breaching it. And the burden of that breach now falls on a former second-round pick. We really have to talk about the ghosts haunting this franchise, the second-round curse. Chris Ballard has a historically shaky, practically traumatizing past with second-round defensive ends. Kemoko Turay, he was a bust. Ben Banogu, an early-round bust. Dayo Odeyingbo showed some real promise, logging 16.5 sacks during his rookie contract, but even he walked away in free agency to the Chicago Bears. This quartet just left so much to be desired. And standing right in the crosshairs of this cursed legacy is Jaylahn Tuimoloau, the 45th overall pick in the 2025 draft out of Ohio State. The expectations are astronomically high, and the history is pretty grim.
But here's the thing. Tuimoloau is not a victim of history. He is a lethal predator hunting in the shadows. He boasts a 10.8% pressure rate. That ranks second out of all Colts defenders in his rookie year. Now, you might be thinking, wait, he only played 215 defensive snaps. That's just 25% of the total snaps. And that's totally true. He was backlogged behind veterans Pay and Ebicom. He dealt with a concussion and an oblique injury. He didn't even record a single sack. But next-gen stats clocked him with 15 pressures and 6 quarterback hits on just 123 pass rushes. When he was actually on the field, like during that lethal spin move against the Raiders in October, he was violently disruptive. He was a constant, looming threat to the pocket.
Part 4. The twitchy transformation. Realizing the massive void left by those departing veterans, Tuimoloau didn't just sit back and rest on his rookie flashes. He approached this offseason like a warrior preparing for an all-out trench war. He knew the franchise was eyeing him to be the eventual Kwity Paye replacement. Just listen to the absolute cold-blooded dedication in his own words. He said, "My goal was to just be as lean as possible and become more twitchy and a lot faster. I think this is my first offseason having to not worry about no combine or pro day. It was just leaning out to become bigger, stronger, faster in every area." Look, this isn't carefully crafted PR speak. This is a player who analyzed his own physiology, stripped away the excess, and dedicated every waking hour to becoming a biomechanical nightmare for opposing offensive tackles under defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo's highly complex scheme. So what was his ultimate goal? A target weight between 265 and 275 pounds. And why does this exact mass matter so deeply in the trenches? Well, because at this specific, hyper-optimized weight, he retains his lethal speed while packing enough kinetic force to ruthlessly set the edge against the run. The Colts desperately need him to be the iron wall opposite their budding superstar Jaylahn Tuimoloau. Now, they did add veterans Arden Key and Michael Clemens for rotational depth, but make absolutely no mistake, they are betting the house on Tuimoloau. Part 5. A high-stakes gamble.
Okay, we need to zoom out from the granular stats for a second. Let's move past the fractional arm measurements and the pressure rates. We really need to look at the massive, overwhelming scale of what this all means for the Indianapolis Colts' entire 2026 season. Because this is the stark reality. The 2026 survival plan is simple. Step 1, bet the franchise on unproven youth. Step 2, survive the intense, unforgiving crucible of the July 29 training camp. Step 3, dominate the trenches. Look, if Jalen Travis cannot hold the right side against elite game-wrecking edge rushers, if Jaylahn Tuimoloau cannot break that second-round curse and consistently hunt the quarterback, this entire blueprint shatters. The offense stalls out, the defense bleeds yardage, the whole season collapses. It is a literal all-or-nothing roll of the dice by Chris Ballard.
Before we reveal the final, burning question of this explainer, I need you to do something. Support NFL Nexus. Subscribe to the channel right now. Like this explainer. Comment your thoughts below and become a channel member today. We dive deeper into the minutia, the tape, and the cinematic truth of the NFL than anyone else on the platform. This is premium, documentary-style football analysis, and you absolutely need to be a part of the Nexus. So I leave you with this chilling, completely unresolved reality. On July 29th, the talking stops, the pads go on, the violent collisions begin. When the stadium lights finally come on for training camp, will this mammoth protector and this twitchy edge rusher hold the line? Or will the Colts' massive, desperate gamble violently collapse under the overwhelming weight of the NFL? I demand to hear your take on this. Sound off in the comments below. The clock is ticking in Indianapolis.